This is Tender 6, West Metro's newest apparatus. It's a Type 1 tactical tender. It's built by SVI, which is Supervac Industries out of Fort Collins, Colorado. I'm Jay Jackson, Division Chief of Support Services with West Metro Fire, and we're going to take a tour of Tender 6. One of the interesting things about this tender is the time that it happened when we built the tender. We went to bid with Supervac Industries and started the actual build during the COVID pandemic, which had all of the issues of supply chain and labor issues, which extended the build out of this apparatus. And we all began to wonder, did it really exist? Kind of like Bigfoot and Sasquatch, which is where the name came from, and also the logo. Sasquatch 6 is Tender 6. Tender 6 is classified as a tactical tender because not only is it a mobile water supply, but it allows us to do pump and roll operations so we can fight fire as the apparatus is moving. So one of the questions that comes up is, what is the difference between a tender and a tanker? Here at West Metro, we've adopted the ICS term, which stands for the Instant Command System, for the mobile water supply to be a tender, where other parts of the country, they may refer to it as a tanker. In the ICS system, the definition of a tanker is an aircraft, and the mobile water supply is a tender. So one of the unique things about the design of this tender is that we designed it with a 4-person cab, which is not normal for a tactical tender. Normally, the classification of a tactical tender only has 2-person cab. We decided to give us some options so we could cross-staff from Engine 6 to Tender 6 and give the officer the ability to split the crew and bring the engine in the tender, or everybody can get in the tender and you can go as a water supply group in the tender. That's pretty unique in the tender world, but we really feel it'll work for our staffing needs at West Metro. Tender 6 carries 2,000 gallons of water, and during the design of this, we really wanted to pay attention to the center of gravity on the tank. So we designed the tank to actually sit lower than normal. It sits within the frame rails and all the plumbing runs through the tank instead of sitting on the tank, which gives us a low center of gravity, which you can see how low the tank is by the black plastic line right there, which is the actual tank. The 750-gallon Watrous pump also sits low, which gives us a lower center of gravity below the frame rails. That's pretty unique and helps with that center of gravity issue in the design of Tender 6. Okay, located on the side of the tender in this compartment are the foldable water tanks, which are used in a water supply operation. And the idea behind this is that the tender can show up and have everything it needs to set up a water shuttle. These are designed to come down so that they're easy to get on and off and set on the ground to use for a water shuttle operation. This is a pre-connected 2.5. This pre-connected 2.5 is direct from the pump, and it allows us to hook directly to a fire truck or a brush truck for a nursing operation, which is one of the water supply operations that we do. In this compartment, this is the engineer compartment, which has all of the different appliances and hose that the engineer needs to set up a water supply. Some of the equipment in this compartment are water strainers, which keeps the debris out of the pump when we are drafting or getting water out of a creek or a lake. The red strainers allow us to draft out of a portable tank. The other ones in here, this is a gated Y, which basically splits the water from 1 hose to 2 hoses. And then this is a Siamese, which takes 2 hoses and puts it into 1 hose, which allows us to have some different options in getting water from the tender to the fire apparatus or from the fire apparatus into the tender. So we have a variety of hose on this tender. Most of it has to do with water supply. So the orange hose there is hooked up to what is called a jet siphon, which moves the water from one tank to another tank. And then the 2.5 hose is a supply hose for getting the water into the tender or out of the tender. In this compartment, we have some of our Wildland PPE. This truck can be used as a Wildland tactical tender, which means it is part of the firefighting force. And in here is the helmets and backpacks and also the fire shelters for the crew. So the back of the tender is super important to the operations of the tender. This is where all of the water is put into the tank and it comes out of the tank. And this is designed to be as efficient and effective at that process as we possibly can do. Here we have two 2.5-inch inlets that are designed to go straight into the tank. So that makes for fast fill. This tender fills in about 2 minutes. This silver thing right here is the chute, and this is where the water comes out. It's 12 inches square, and it can dump this entire tank of 2,000 gallons in less than 2 minutes. The dump chute is designed to get the water out of the tank as fast as possible, and it can be moved side to side to the truck, and it can also be extended in order to help get the water away from the truck to help our operations on scene. The 180-degree LED lights on the side of the tender go from green to blue to orange to red, and they show how much water we have in the tank. In this compartment, we have a portable pump. This portable pump is used to fill the tender or provide a water supply from a static water supply such as a lake or a creek. In this compartment, we have Wildland Tools. This is considered a tactical tender, which means it can be used as a wildland firefighting apparatus. In here, we not only have the PPE that we need for that, but we also have a chainsaw that we can use for firefighting. So this is what's called a jump line. A jump line is the line that we would use for fighting fires, such as a grass fire on the side of the road. And because Tender 6 will be used as a firefighting apparatus, this would be used for grass fires or to work something on the side of the road. We designed this tender with safety in mind. We took a lot of precautions and a lot of design effort to make sure that it was safe to operate. Some of the things we did was make sure that we had good access to the top where the hose is stored, which is the supply hose to fill the tender with. We made sure that everything is marked. We've got plenty of good scene lighting. We've got a rear camera on the back of it for backing, but it can also monitor what goes on back here as we're doing dump operations. Some of the other things that we did was we looked at the braking of the apparatus. Not only does it have conventional braking at the wheels, but it also has an electromagnetic midship brake that is a brake on the drive line called a Talmud brake that as you let off the gas, it starts braking the vehicle, and as you apply the brakes, then it increases that magnetic brake. It also has a Jake brake on the motor, which is a retarder from the motor. So really you have 3 braking systems on this apparatus in order to stop it, with plenty of braking for a safe operating vehicle. One of the concerns when we designed this tender was that we had enough horsepower and enough performance to be able to do what this tender needs to do with the terrain and the elevation that we have. We ordered the Freightliner 108 Super Duty chassis that has a 400 horsepower Cummins engine in it to make sure that it had all the performances that we needed to have to get the job done. Tender 6 is going to be located at Station 6, which is at 6th Avenue in Indiana, next to the Jefferson County Fairgrounds. We're excited because Tender 6 is the first water tender for West Metro, and it's going to provide a lot of really important resources to the way that we respond in the district to our calls. Thanks for dropping by and taking a tour of Tender 6.